Hi everybody, welcome to a new all of the above budget movie review. And we're still in the Stallone month. I've been doing a lot of series and I'm doing two more series and now do a standalone movie. Um, yeah, this time I'm going to do another classic series of Stallone. It's called the Rambo series. You might have heard of it. It's one of the greatest action movies ever made. It starts off with First Blood. This is a French version, so it's called Rambo, but it's First Blood. Came out in 1982. How young I was back then. I mean, but it's about a Vietnam veteran who comes to a small town, gets caught for being a hitchhiker or being a vagrant, as they call it, and getting treated very poorly. And yeah, something snaps and he goes on a rampage. Now you think he will go on a killing spree, but in fact he doesn't kill anybody in this movie. Somebody dies in this movie, but it's their own fault. They died just by being dumb. When you're in a chopper and you don't wear a belt or seat belt or anything, and there's a storm and there's a wind, and yeah, you're just dumb. So if you fall out of a helicopter, tough luck. But he maims people. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of explosions. But there's also a lot of heart in this movie. Um, at the end, we see Rambo just break down, and we see what happened to this veteran when he, well, just did what his country asked of him, and what happened when he came back. And people didn't like what they did back there, so they treated him poorly, and he got PTSD, post traumatic stress syndrome. Um, yeah, it's very heartfelt. It's not a typical action movie. I'm still have to read. I still have to read the book. I want to read the book because I like to read some of the novels that made my movie watching history, my movie watching experience. Like back there, the blue thing you see there, those are James Bond novels. I've read them all. The Death Wish novels. Yeah, so and a lot more. Um, Hellraiser, like Hellraiser, the novel where it's based on. So, but we're not talking about Hellraiser here. We're talking about Rambo. The first Rambo, First Blood, was a great movie. It made an impact, and it made an impact on me too as a viewer. Then it was time for Rambo 2. Rambo 2, First Blood Part 2. And it gives Rambo a chance to go back to Vietnam and rescue uh, prisoners of war. And this is more an action movie than the first one was. He shoots a lot of people. There's a lot of explosions, but it's also connected with a good story. So, yeah, Rambo 2, like I said, it's a good movie. I liked it. Um, it showed what happened next to to him. We see him dealing with how his with Colonel Troutman, yeah, how he helps him come back to the world after he's been imprisoned after the events of First Blood. But we see him come into his own, being in the jungles of Vietnam again. Also, we see some of his past and creeping up on him. Yeah, I like this one too. It was more like an action movie, but it was a good one. Um, it was followed up by part three, Rambo 3. Just and the craziest thing is the First Blood 2 was called Rambo 2, but First Blood wasn't called Rambo. So and the French title was, of course. Um, so it's funny. But part three takes Rambo on a journey of rescue. He wants to rescue Troutman from Russians in Afghanistan, helped by the Mujahideen or rebel fighters in Afghanistan. And yeah, I it was a very action-packed movie, like the second one, um, and it overwhelmed the story a bit. It was more about the action and less about the person. Um, it's it's a big movie. I like the movie, um, but it doesn't compare to the first one. It was done in a time where sequels are often lesser than the originals, and that still happens today to some of the movies or most of them. Some movies are literally squeezed out until there's nothing left to watch. They're just sequels are just a faint echo of what the original movie was. But I'm digressing. There was a lot of silence between Rambo 3. Um, then when Stallone did, I don't know, yeah, I think he did this one after Rocky Balboa. It was the time when he did complete movie titles like Rocky Balboa, Rocky 6, um, and we get Rambo 5 called John Rambo. In that time, we also had a movie called Jason Bourne. It was like, hey, everybody who has a name can get a movie. So I'm still waiting for Mario Cobretti, the movie, like Cobra 2. But John Rambo is another hard-hitting action movie. We see where John Rambo was after part three. He, yeah, he's in a place where he knows his life. It's safe. He's surrounded by what he knows, and he can be who he wants to be. And he has nothing for in his mind to go back to. So yeah, it's a gruesome horror, not horror, but action movie. It's gruesome as in the action is very up there. It's visceral, it's bloody, and some parts are just wow that they did that in a movie. Like even killing kids. Some movies don't go there. In this movie, they did, and they make the bad guys who are really bad or just evil, plain evil. And it makes you feel joyous when they get their comeuppance or they get their ass kicked by Rambo. Um, yeah, it's a good action movie. It's a step up to what three was. Uh, it's it's a bit better than part two was even. Um, yeah, Stallone also directed this one and wrote it, and it was a nice comeback movie to the Rambo series. And I liked this one. Yeah, John Rambo is a good movie. And then it was time for, well, we have First Blood. Now we have Last Blood, the Rambo Last Blood. This one. It's the last Rambo movie up to now. You'll never know what he does in the future, but I don't know, Stallone gets older too. And in this one, he is back in, yeah, in a ranch. He lives on his father's ranch. He has a sort of family, and it's kind of a revenge movie. He takes on a kind of gang who does something to one of his stepdaughter, and it's a good action movie. It's a nice send off, and it lets you know where Rambo is going, and it has an ending that you makes you think from where is this going? Is it this the end, or I won't spoil it, but it makes you think like could there be a sequel or is it really over? So I love the action. It's has a nice story. It's not a super Rambo movie. Um, it's not as hard hitting as part one, but it's as dramatic as part one, and it's a kind of different movie than the other uh, 2 to 6 or 2 to 5 or 2 to 4. Yeah, 2 to 4. Sorry. Um, so yeah, you got 6 movies or 5 movies. Sorry, I lost my count here. 5 movies with, yeah, all telling their own story and making making it fit at the end. I mean, yeah, I I'm curious what you thought of the Rambo movies, and please let me know. Leave a comment down here, and if you're down here, you can subscribe too. And if you want to like it, and just leaves me to say thank you for watching, and see you next time.